Okay, let's get into it. We're going to unpack one of the weirdest, most counterintuitive shifts happening in the American economy right now. And that is, why are the wealthiest shoppers suddenly flocking to the discount aisle? I mean, this whole thing really flips the script on how we think about wealth, status, and what it even means to be rich in America today.
So let's kick things off with a little puzzle. What on earth could a $10,000 lie-flat seat to Paris possibly have in common with a store that sells party supplies for $1? I know, it sounds like the setup to a bad joke, right? But the answer actually reveals this huge economic and cultural transformation that's going on.
And the answer is the modern affluent consumer. Because as we're heading into 2025, a stunning 28% of high-income American households, and yeah, we're talking about people in the top tier of earners, are regularly shopping at discount chains. This isn't just some small quirk, it's a seismic shift in how people with money are spending it.
And look, this isn't just a couple of stories about seeing Teslas in the Aldi parking lot. This is a real, measurable tidal wave of change. And the numbers coming from the biggest names in retail, well, they're absolutely staggering.
Let's just start with the giant, Walmart. For 2 years straight, their own CEO confirmed that 3/4 of their growth, 75%, came from households making over $100,000 a year. That's not just some interesting little data point, no. For the world's largest retailer, that is their growth story.
Now, what's really wild here is just how fast this is all happening. Just look at Aldi. In only a few years, they've literally doubled their share of high-income shoppers. It's not just that they're building more stores, they're making a beeline for wealthier zip codes, and it is working.
And okay, if you're still not convinced, get this. The CEO of Dollar Tree, yes, Dollar Tree, said that the majority of their new customers were from households pulling in over $100,000. You see, this isn't about people being forced to trade down. It's a calculated, strategic choice.
So, the big question is, why? Why is all of this happening? Why are people who are supposedly well off suddenly so focused on saving a couple of bucks on paper towels? Well, the answer's pretty simple. For a huge and growing number of Americans, rich just doesn't feel rich anymore.
Let me introduce you to a group that demographers call the Henrys. It stands for High Earners, Not Rich Yet. And these folks are really at the heart of this whole trend. We're talking households that, on paper, make great money. But in reality, they're feeling an absolutely intense financial squeeze from every direction.
And that squeeze is no joke. I mean, just look at the numbers. Grocery prices are up a whopping 25% since before the pandemic. Then you add in the biggest jump in hospital costs in over a decade, childcare that can easily cost as much as a mortgage payment, and home prices that are topping $1 million in major cities. All of a sudden, that six-figure salary just doesn't stretch as far as it used to.
Now, I want you to really let this next number sink in. A recent survey found that 62% of Americans earning over $300,000 a year are struggling with credit card debt. And no, you did not hear that wrong. The financial pressure is just immense, and it's forcing everyone, even the wealthy, to completely rethink how they manage their money.
So what happens when you're under all this pressure? Well, you get smart, and that's led to this really clever new financial playbook. It's being called the barbell spending strategy, and it's basically how savvy shoppers are fighting back against inflation and rewriting the rules of budgeting.
And this right here, this is the core idea in a nutshell. It's so simple, but so powerful. On one end of the barbell, you become ruthless about saving. You buy your groceries at Aldi, your paper towels from Costco, your birthday decorations at Dollar Tree. You slash costs on all the everyday stuff, the commodities. And why? You do all that so you can free up cash for the other end of the barbell, the splurge, the high-value, status-affirming purchases that really matter to you.
And believe me, that splurge side of the barbell is absolutely booming. Just take Delta, for example. For the first time in its entire 100-year history, revenue from its premium cabins actually brought in more money than the main cabin. It's a perfect snapshot of where the money is going. The top 10% of households are now driving almost half of all consumer spending, and they are pointing that fire hose of cash directly at premium goods and experiences.
This quote from Delta's president just says it all. You know, these premium offerings, they used to be the bait, the thing you dangled to get people in the door, a loss leader. But now, they're not just a gimmick anymore. They're the most profitable thing these companies sell. Businesses are literally re-engineering their entire models to cater to this strategy. But okay, there's one last crucial piece to this puzzle. Because for a strategy like this to really take hold, you need more than just economic pressure. You need a cultural shift. You need permission. And that's exactly what we got when, somehow,
budgeting suddenly became cool.
You've probably seen this on TikTok. It's called loud budgeting, and it has totally exploded. What it does is it completely reframes the act of saving money. It's no longer something you do quietly or feel ashamed of. Now it's a sign of intelligence, of being in control, of financial empowerment. It was basically the permission slip that affluent shoppers needed to embrace the discount aisle openly.
And this quote from the guy who came up with the term just nails it. The whole narrative has changed. It's not a confession of, I don't have enough money for that. It's a declaration of choice. I don't want to spend my money on that. It's a total power move. It tells people you're smart with your cash and you've got bigger, better priorities.
So when you put this all together, what do you get? You get this. The way we signal our social standing has fundamentally changed. It's uncoupled from everyday stuff. Think about it. Nobody really cares where you bought your olive oil if your next Instagram post is from a first-class seat on a plane. Your shopping cart isn't the status signal anymore. Your experiences are. And all of this leaves us with a really fascinating question to think about. In a world where being smart and savvy with your spending is the new status symbol, our entire relationship with money is being redrawn right before our eyes. So it makes you wonder, doesn't it? What will we, as a culture, decide is truly worth splurging on next?